Okay, Montana, right lower control arm fix, replace. So jack it up. Where do we want to jack it up? Well, probably on right there where the frame is mounted onto the body. There's a nice round cup, and you just jack it up there. And I like to put the jack stand on the frame right up front and then keep the load balanced between the two, and get the wheel off and then go to work on it. You've got the front bolt right there. You've got the rear bolt, which is sideways instead of up and down, and then you've got the ball joint right here, and I'll take the wrench off. So there's a cotter key here that goes in there that stops this bolt from coming out. And you got to get the cotter key out first, and then you get the bolt on there. I always use penetrating oil, then get a grip on it. It's an 18, not 13. Anyway, we get that bolt, and then we get either the front or the back bolt. And you can tell when it's having trouble when it's all starting to split, or when it goes clunk. When you're at the stoplight and you just give it a little gas gently, you can hear it go clunk. And then of course as it gets worse, it goes clunk. And yeah, usually the front bolt is the one that goes on you first, because it's got all the stress when the wheel torques from a takeoff. The front joint is the one that gets stressed the most. So it's better to just swap out the control arm and be done with it. So anyway, let's see how the progress goes. So I had to tap the wrench. It's a good long wrench, but there's not enough clearance, so you got to rotate it like this around when you do each turn. And that'll just give you more clearance to get the nut off quicker. So everything's going good so far because of the anti-seize penetrant. It helps a lot. But here I am cranking this bolt a little bit at a time, just to make sure I got some more bolt taken off. But these pieces here, the trim, right, and just getting the wrench under there is a little annoying. So I'm like, well, I can just pop a couple of these trim bolts out. Of course, this is a trim tool. Anyway, you just grab it at an auto shop, and you just pop that out of there and pull these things out, and then you get free access, and it's so easy to snap them back in. So there you go, pulled out, easy peasy. Now you can throw a socket on and go zip zip. Yep, definitely worth doing that. So I just used a torque bar on the first turn with the Deep 21, and just give it one pull, and then I can just easily put the ratchet on it and spin it off. And of course I threw an 18 millimeter on the front and let it just push up against the control arm while I'm ratcheting it off. So before I finish this, now that I know all the bolts will be free, I'm just going to quickly get these wheel speed sensor clips out. And the easiest way is just to put a screwdriver in there and kind of pry it out. Sorry, I'm looking through the camera lens, and it's just always impossible when you're doing it through a camera lens. There, another one. Just push in there and lift up. Pulls it out. And there's some more down in here, and you just make sure the wire's loose before you start pounding on this to pop this. And this ball joint is like a V groove, so you really gotta bang on it. And the bolt sometimes will get stuck in the space there, so you gotta push this down enough so it's out of the way, so the bolt can slide out. So the only funky part of all this is trying to get this part loose And where's the thread? So as you can see, it's loose now. And that's because I put a ball joint removal tool in, but it's too skinny for this ball joint. So I just put it on the edge under the steering knuckle between the control arm and the steering knuckle and wedged it in there and keep whacking. And now it's loose. And I can start taking these other bolts out. Now that the 3 bolts are known to be not seized and they're loose and they're ready to all come off, let's make sure that the sway bar link is going to be able to be coming off. So 15 millimeter top and bottom. So I'm just using a nice long wrench here, socket underneath. It's a little bit seized, so I've got some anti-seize on there. And so I'm just going to put a bottle jack handle on the end of the socket. Just give me some torque to get the first thing to break it loose. So right, a jack handle. Just put it over the end of the socket wrench and crank it. So the sway bar link bolt, crank, and it was starting to go, you know, like make lots of creaky noises when I'm pulling it. And that bolt, the threads there have to be so clean just to try to get the penetrating oil in there, but I'd say be prepared to just buy a whole new sway bar link and pop that in when you're doing it, because like, I mean, I put that on brand new not too long ago, a few years ago, and it just gets seized up so easily. And I would just get that part when you change the control arm all at the same time, so that you're not going to the store for the part and now I gotta go to the store. I make all these little videos just because to help me remember the stuff that's gone on. The truck, you know, like cold engine starts perfectly, right? So I go, okay, I'll just get the Canadian Tire really quick. I gotta get some parts for the van because I got the whole thing apart. And I go and stop the engine quick as I can. Normal driving. Get into Canadian Tire. I'm like 10 minutes tops. Anyway, I come out, start the engine. Start it again. I swear it's flooded, right? So, fuel supply issue. And so I've tried it a few more times. And it's still not starting, and I got the van apart, and it's cloudy, and it could rain, and the temperature's good to work on it, but I can't work on the damn thing in the dark, and the truck is stuck. It's like such a pain. Anyway, so I'm sitting here, and a scammer comes by in a van, but he goes, my wife is in the back of the van, she's pregnant, I'm trying to get to Calgary, I need money, I don't have any money. Take my ring, take my gold ring, take my gold necklace. And you know, I'm like, it's like same old. I was through the scam like that before, and I said, look, you know, here's your money. I gave him some money, not much, but you know, enough to get you to Calgary on your gas. And then he's asking, oh no, I need more. I'm just like, no, like, take your, like, he dropped the gold chain and the ring in my lap. And like, I'm thinking, like, if I'm not careful, this guy's gonna grab my whole wallet. But anyway, he's just by himself with this woman in the back of this van. So anyway, I'm like, well, okay, fine. You know, I told him, I said, look, Canadians are gullible. That means we're stupid. Here's your money. Good luck. Treat somebody else really well. Be good to somebody else. And he goes, you know, he goes, you know, he tried to get more money from me right after I said that. But I'm like, no, just, and I dumped the gold back into his hands and said, just, that's it. We're done. Go away. And so it's just funny, like yeah, you need something and you need money and you're scamming, or you need it badly. I'm not the judge today, but I'm stuck here with this truck that doesn't start. So the Lord's, put the guy in front of me, so it is what it is. So insult to injury. I ripped over to Canadian Tire. Truck starts fine. Get the parts. 10 minutes I'm out of there. Start the truck. Nope. So after an hour plus, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to get freezing cold and it'll be dark as hell, and I'm going to have this giant mess here to clean up and then remake the mess and keep the thing jacked up overnight. Like, no. So cab it home and now hurry before it gets too dark. Get her done. Dang it. I also had to buy a set of Torx. There's a T50, largest one I got. Still too small. I'm so mad. Okay, so after getting the T55 Torx, not the set of Torx that goes up to 50. So, yeah, everything's out, but problem. So, everything's free, but over here, let's get some light on the subject in a minute here. So, I've been torquing this and putting lots and lots of penetrant on there, and I broke the rubber torquing it, and the rubber is welded on to the bolt, and the rubber is also melted onto the bolt. And so the only thing that's going to help now is like vice grips and lots of turning and cranking and loosening and lots of penetrant. But the problem is it's bloody like sundown. And that's because of vehicle troubles all over the place. I mean, why me? Anyway, so I finally got a taxi back. And then I had to take another vehicle back over to Canadian Tire to go get the Torx. And I mean, it's just been one of those days. Everything's great. One bolt, one problem. 90% of the work, one bolt.